Hey, Falcons fans! Before we dive into today's explosive news, I need you to understand something. What I'm about to reveal isn't just another Tuesday afternoon transaction. This is the kind of chess move that separates championship organizations from pretenders. And trust me, Terry Fontenot just made a statement that has the entire league paying attention. Now, I know what you're thinking. Another roster move? Big deal. But hold up, because what happened this week exposes something much bigger. We're talking about a glaring weakness that could either derail our playoff push or become the catalyst for the most unexpected storyline of the 2025 season. Here's what's coming. We've got trade deadline drama involving a former second-round pick that nobody saw coming, a front office decision that left fans divided, and here's where it gets insane. A potential free agency signing that could be the missing piece this offense has been begging for since week 1. But before I reveal the names, the numbers, and the game-changing implications, you need to hear about the problem first. Because once you understand what Terry Fontenot just exposed, you'll realize why the next 72 hours could define our entire season. So here's what I need you to do right now. Smash that like button like your playoff hopes depend on it. Slam that subscribe button so you don't miss a single update as this story develops. And destroy that notification bell because when the Falcons make their next move, and you'll be the first to know. We're about to blow the lid off this entire situation, and I'm not holding anything back. Let's get into it. All right, here's the bomb that dropped this week. The Atlanta Falcons released Ray McCloud on Tuesday afternoon. Now, on the surface, you might think, okay, a depth receiver got cut. So what? But here's why this matters more than you think. This move didn't just clear a roster spot. It exposed our receiver room in a way that's impossible to ignore. And when I say exposed, I mean the front office basically stood up in front of the entire NFL and said, yeah, we've got a problem, and we're not hiding it anymore. Let's break down what we're working with behind Drake London and Darnell Mooney. Are you ready for this list? Casey Washington, David Sills v. Kader Hodge, Jamal Agnew. Now, I'm not here to disrespect these guys. They're NFL players. They've earned their spots. But, and this is a massive but, when you're talking about supporting a young quarterback like Michael Penix Jr., when you're talking about making a legitimate playoff push in one of the most competitive divisions in football, when you're talking about maximizing what should be one of the most explosive offenses in the NFC, this depth chart is not it. The timing of this move is critical. We're sitting at 3-3, right in the thick of the NFC South race. The trade deadline is on the horizon. Every team that wants to be taken seriously is making moves. And Terry Fontenot just sent a message. We know we need help, and we're not waiting around. But here's where it gets really interesting. Releasing McCloud opens up salary cap space. It opens up a roster spot. It opens up opportunity. And according to sources, the Falcons aren't just sitting back hoping someone calls about a trade. They're actively looking at free agency, and the name that keeps coming up is absolutely perfect for what this offense needs. But before we get to that game-changing free agent, we need to talk about another story that's brewing behind the scenes. Because while the receiver situation is getting all the attention, there's another player whose future in Atlanta just became a major question mark. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler just dropped a report that has people talking, and it involves former second-round pick Arnold Ebiketie. Now, if you've been following this team closely, you know Ebiketie has been, let's say, inconsistent. The Falcons traded up to draft this guy in the second round back in 2022, and the expectations were sky high. Here's the reality check. Ebiketie has 0 sacks this season. Over his entire career, 56 games, he's got just 14.5 sacks. For a player drafted to be a cornerstone pass rusher, those numbers are underwhelming, to say the least. Now, here's what Fowler reported, and I quote, Ebiketie has had trade interest dating back to the offseason. The 2022 second-round pick is on an expiring contract, and rookies James Pierce Jr. and Jalen Walker are a big part of Atlanta's future at edge rusher. Let that sink in. The Falcons have younger, cheaper talent waiting in the wings. Ebiketie is in the final year of his rookie contract, and other teams have been calling about him since the offseason. Here's my take. The Falcons' defense has gone from one of the worst units in football to one of the best this season. Jeff Ulbrich has completely transformed this unit. And while Ebiketie has been part of the rotation, he's not irreplaceable. If another team is willing to give up draft capital for him, especially a second or third round pick, Terry Fontenot has to at least listen. Because here's the thing about championship teams, they're ruthless about roster construction. They don't fall in love with draft pedigree. They don't keep players around just because of what they might become. They maximize value at every opportunity. And speaking of maximizing value, there's another name Fowler mentioned that's absolutely wild to think about: Kirk Cousins. Yes, that Kirk Cousins. The quarterback who was supposed to be our franchise savior. The guy we signed to that massive contract. Fowler listed him as a potential trade candidate ahead of the deadline. Now, would the Falcons actually trade Cousins? Probably not. The contract makes it complicated, and we need to see Michael Penix Jr. take another massive step forward. But the fact that it's even being discussed tells you everything about how the league views this roster right now. We're in transition mode, and Terry Fontenot is weighing every single option. All right, now we get to the part that has me absolutely fired up. Because while everyone's talking about potential trades, about Jacoby Myers, about Calvin Ridley, about expensive options that would cost us draft capital, there's a free agent sitting out there right now who could be the perfect fit for this offense. The Tennessee Titans just released Tyler Lockett. Now, before you say, wait, isn't he old? Didn't he struggle this year? Let me explain why this makes too much sense. First, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, Lockett is 33 years old. Yes, he caught just 10 passes for 70 yards this season with the Titans. But here's the context you need to understand. Lockett didn't get released because he can't play anymore. He requested his release because he didn't want to end his career riding the bench for a losing team. That right there tells you everything. The man still has gas in the tank. He still wants to compete. And most importantly, he wants to be part of something meaningful. Now let's talk about why he's perfect for Atlanta specifically. Number one, Michael Penix Jr. needs a safety valve. Every young quarterback needs that reliable veteran receiver who knows how to find the soft spot in coverage, who can convert on third down, who can be trusted in crucial moments. Lockett has been that guy for a decade. Let me throw some numbers at you. Over his career, Lockett surpassed 1,000 receiving yards 4 times. He hit 850-plus yards 6 times. Before his down year in Tennessee, he caught 49 passes for 600 yards with the Seahawks in 2024, and that was as the third option behind Jackson Smith-Njigba and DK Metcalf. Number 2, the man is reliable. Lockett is a 3-time All-Pro, and get this, he hasn't had more than 5 drops in a season since 2020. When Michael Penix throws him the ball, it's getting caught. Period. Number 3, Lockett thrived in a vertical passing offense with Russell Wilson in Seattle. Sound familiar? Our offense is built on explosive plays downfield. Penix has one of the strongest arms in the league. Pairing him with a receiver who knows how to work vertically, who understands timing routes, who can stretch the field, that's chemistry waiting to happen. Number 4, leadership. Our receiver room is one of the youngest in the league. Drake London is still developing into that true WR1. Darnell Mooney brings veteran experience, but we need more. Lockett is known throughout the league as an elite locker room presence. The kind of guy who mentors younger players, who sets the standard in practice, who shows up when it matters most. And here's the best part, because he's a free agent, this costs us nothing in terms of draft capital. Terry Fontenot can save those picks for the future, for building through the draft, for making moves that set us up long-term. Meanwhile, we get an immediate upgrade at WR3 without sacrificing our ability to be aggressive at other positions. Look, Falcons Nation, I'm not here to sell you false hope. We're 3-3. We've got challenges ahead. The NFC South is brutal this year, and we're going to have to earn every single win. But what I am telling you is this: the pieces are coming together. The defense is for real. Michael Penix Jr. is showing flashes of brilliance. And now, the front office is making moves that show they're all in on winning this season. Whether it's Tyler Lockett, whether it's a trade deadline move we haven't even heard about yet, whether it's internal development from our young guys, something's cooking in Flowery Branch, and I am here for it. So here's my challenge to you: stay locked in. Don't let the national media tell you we're not contenders. Don't let the doubters convince you this team can't make noise. Because I'm telling you right now, with the right moves over the next few weeks, we could be talking about this Falcons squad in January. The question isn't whether we can do it. The question is whether we have the guts to seize the moment. Terry Fontenot just showed us he does. Now it's time for the players to prove it on the field. Go Falcons!